We're going to talk about, unfortunately, Rob, Jontay Porter, who bet. Remember a couple weeks ago he got suspended for betting on games, NBA games, not ones he was in, although he did prop bets.
Well, that was the ones that got everybody suspicious, Chris, because we know this. You don't think that these casinos and these bookie houses, Chris, don't follow the money to see what kind of bets are being made. They know how much money on a nightly basis are bet on prop bets, and they got an unusual amount of money for Jontay, right?
Rob,
on him.
he's a 6'11" center, or he wasn't drafted. He's 24 years old, 6'11", 24 years old.
Two-way
the brother
contract,
of Michael Porter Jr., which probably may have helped him get in the league, maybe. But he did play at Missouri. But yeah, two-way contract, so he, shuttled in between the NBA and the G League.
And wasn't making that much money, $400,000,
No, I think he's making $411,000, something like that. But Rob, this young man has ruined is an understatement. He's ended his career. Adam Silver has banned him for life for his gambling. What are your thoughts?
Combination. We've talked about it before. And, it's talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're in bed with the gamblers, Chris. I went to a Cavs game, and they have, I don't remember what, casino or whatever, sports book, right there in the arena. Have you been there? Where they have
Where?
In Cleveland.
No.
Okay, but Chris,
I mean, I've been there, but not since the gambling became a partnership.
No, they have a.
Oh, it's all.
They have a sports book inside. I don't know anybody. Does they have it at Madison Square Garden? They must. I've been there since.
There's no doubt. I mean, the league is, and who's it? Was it Kerry Kittle? Somebody we were talking about?
Yeah.
That said it's going to be a temptation for a lot of players, particularly one like Jontay Murray, Rob, making $411,000.
Right, where he could double his money, or put his friends on and buddies on, giving out inside information, and you're going to have the threat of that. But I'm going to say
to that end, Rob. Here's some of the numbers. All right.
Yep.
So he placed 13 bets on NBA games using a friend's or associate's online betting account. The bets range from $15 to $22,000. Total of over $54,000 bet. And he came out with net winnings of $21,965. None of those bets involved any of the games in which he played. But he also gave guys information about his health. They say he revealed information about his own health to a known sports bettor ahead of the game on March 20th against Sacramento. And that another bettor who got the information placed an $80,000 same game parlay on, like a prop bet on Porter's statistics. And he would have won $1.1 million, Rob. And that's the game where Porter played 3 minutes and then left the game with an illness. But the bet, DraftKings didn't pay it out. They probably followed the money.
Right. And Chris, $80,000 for 1.1?
Right.
That's temptation.
On somebody like Jontay Porter.
Right.
I mean, that's a red flag.
That is a red flag.
Why are you betting so much on this guy? You know what I mean?
$80,000 on that guy is a red flag. I don't care. People bet $100, $50, $10, Chris, all kinds of stuff. But $80,000 is a lot. But here's my thing. And I think the NBA, and I'm not saying, dude, you know the rules, Chris. We talked about it all the time. People always want to make excuse for Pete Rose. The rules were always there. You work baseball clubhouses. Yep. There's no sign bigger, Chris, in the clubhouse than that you would be banned, right, for gambling. Right. Nothing bigger. So you can't say you didn't know. And the same thing here, the NBA is fortunate that it's not a big star and they can make an example out of a kid like this. I don't know you know what I mean as far as gambling.
Yeah.
So now I think you put this out here, you ban this kid who wasn't a star or anything or any kind of big-time player. And it's unfortunate, not that he didn't deserve it, because he knew what the consequences were. Yeah. But I just wonder, people out there, do they feel somewhat, Chris, bad for the kid from the standpoint that the league is telling everybody else to gamble on their games, and gambling is okay, and they're all right with that, but players can't. The same thing with the NFL. You could bet
all of them. Yeah.
It's all of them. I don't know. It seems rather harsh, but I don't know what other step you can take. No, I know. I'm just saying, I don't know what you can't lessen it.
No,
because you can't allow this to happen. Once you mess with the integrity of the game, Chris, you have the WWE. You can't do it.
No, and Rob, and I get and echo your feelings about these leagues, the hypocrisy. You're pushing gambling. It's all in the arenas and stadiums and when the teams are playing and everything. But the players can't do it. I get the hypocrisy and the way that looks. But that also, you can't do it, period. But now that they are in bed, it all has to be above board. You're right. It would become the WWE, which would be horrible, right, if it were basically fake and fixed. However, now you've got tons of money riding on it. How are you? These gambling, companies, the games cannot be fake. They cannot be fixed if you have people betting on them. You know what I mean? Betting, like tonight, I'm taking Philly, and it's fixed, right? And how you can't run that if people are betting money on these games?
And you know
I
what?
feel bad for him, but it just has to happen, because you can't let even a whiff of that in your league.
Let me say this, Monty, if you're listening, and Shay, if you're listening, jump on, because you guys are younger. And Chris, I don't know if you see this on Twitter, but on Sundays after NFL games, they believe the NFL's fixed or rigged. I cannot get over how many.
Yeah, I see a lot.
Do you see it, right?
You always see that with basketball, with the NBA.
Shay, am I right about this?
There's a script. Everyone says there's a script.
There's a script up. There it is. It's unbelievable.
But I think my feeling on that, and I could be wrong.
But I'm just saying that's the money part. That's the gambling part.
But my feeling on that is that's just people throwing stuff out. I don't think they really believe it. Rob,
but I'm saying it's
anybody
because
to
of the money.
The NFL or any of these are fixed is ridiculous.
I'm just saying it's the gambling part, Chris, because people have money on it, and they can't believe, and they can't believe that that the team didn't go in to score right up 2 touchdowns at the 1 yard line, and they kneeled down. Patrick Mahomes did something in the game, Chris. People went nuts. They didn't kick the field goal or something, right, Shay? And they didn't cover the spread or something.
Yeah.
You remember that game?
There's a lot of moments like that, though.
There's tons of moments. And especially now when teams are going for stuff on 4th down that they didn't used to go for. Now when teams feel like, field goal is not enough, I got to score touchdowns. And Rob, and obviously everybody now has heard J.B. Bickerstaff, coach of the Cavs, talk about getting death threats, and you've heard players talk about, people yelling at them, during the game and about stats and numbers and point spreads and stuff like that. Rob, honestly, the leagues have to really monitor this. I would say, now maybe again, I'm being Pollyannish. If it gets too bad, if players get to a point where they either feel legitimately or they actually are in physical danger, I'm not talking about necessarily in the arena, I'm talking about away from it, then I think the leagues just need to watch this, Rob. Because, people are, if somebody loses enough money, who knows what they might do?
No, that's the scary part, and we hear the venom and whatnot. Guys have money riding. They bet their mortgage, Chris.
Yeah,
they bet their school
and they
money.
think these guys got all the money in the world anyway.
Right.
They're like, man, you making all this money, and now I've lost hundreds of thousands on you,
and you can't get 10 rebounds. You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
You can't get 10 rebounds, or you have 9 and you cost me $4,000 that I was going to pay my mortgage with. Like, that's where people are.
And Rob, that's where the leagues have to be careful, man. And I would even say if you start getting wind of stuff like that, and you'd want to be obviously proactive and do it before anything happened. But I would even go as far as to say, Rob, you need to cut this off then. There's a reason this didn't used to be legal.
100%.
Because you didn't want people all up on your players like that. People still tried it, but it was like limited to, the mafia or a few, you know what I mean? Like the wise guys and people like that. But now it could be anybody.
And you remember the idea of having teams in Vegas, Chris? No way, no how. Right. Like that was the last place leagues were talking about it.
Yep.
And now we got a hockey team. There's a football team there. There's going to be an NBA team, and baseball's coming.
Yep.
There is.
Now, I mean, look, I don't gamble. I'm not, I just think they just got to be careful. And it seems like, it's just a money grab. It's just a money grab.
There's so much money out there.
And now you better be careful that you don't put your players in any danger. And thankfully, we haven't heard much about that. I mean, death threats, nowadays, Rob, people get those on social media. I don't want to belittle it, but at the same time, it happens a lot, where people don't really mean it and they're just trolling. But the league, and Rob, the leagues, they got security and stuff. They probably are monitoring stuff like this, so.